Hey, peace and blessings to you. My name is Jerry D. I am the EntreMusician, and so are you. Welcome to another exciting episode of the EntreMusician. This is the space where we concentrate on the mindset, the discipline, and the focus of the EntreMusician. Today's episode, absolutely no exception. In fact, today's episode, as I sometimes say, is exceptional. Now, if you follow this podcast at all, you will know that it's not our habit to follow current news or cultural events, whether they're musical or otherwise. And we feel that if we're chasing news cycles, it makes us current, but we would rather talk about issues that are purposeful, relevant, and have a longer lasting effect on your career, far longer than the latest trend. But today, I must admit, today we're going to dip our toe into a current situation simply because of the long-lasting lesson it will lead to if, my friend, if you take heed. Now, like many of you, my attention has been piqued by the whole legal situation involving Sean P. Diddy Combs. Not because I'm a fan, I'm not necessarily. I don't own any of his music, and I'm not very familiar with his catalog other than, of course, his most popular work. I'm primarily a jazz guy, and that is the music that I listen to. However, I am not going to use this platform or this podcast to hate on him either. I don't know him personally. And of course, being a man of faith, I'm praying for him, and I'm praying for the entire situation because it just shows how much help Hollywood actually needs. And it's quite interesting to see those who were all up in his camp, just weeks ago, disassociating themselves from him and calling him this and calling him that, and it frequently happens this way in these type of situations. In fact, my understanding of the headlines is that in the midst of a few important industry personnel resigning their post, Diddy's arrest is only the beginning of a huge strand of Hollywood elites who will be indicted as time moves on. Now, I will say as an EntreMusician, I do admire the industry Mr. Combs has created through his music. And I could tell you would agree, there is not an artist, musician, singer, or producer who doesn't wish they had, myself included, reach the pinnacle and the profitable financial heights and other amenities that such a successful music career affords. We would all want to, climb that type of mountain, no doubt. But there are also stark realities which all of us can learn by what's unfolding right before our very eyes. Not to say that we haven't been here before. I mean, unfortunately, the fate of R. Kelly and many other celebrities whose skeletons could not stay locked in their closets remind us that what's done in the dark eventually makes it into the light, and that everyone, everywhere, will reap what you sow. So make sure you know what type of seeds you have in your hand. But what's most unique to this case is that there is a systemic formula at play, a system which has been operating for over 2 decades. And although Sean Combs may be the linchpin, there are multiple participants involved. And there's alleged blackmail and bribery, there's extortion and alleged racketeering in the midst of all of the other evil that's going on. Now, as an EntreMusician who studies and teaches on the foundational aspects of mindset, discipline, and focus, this present situation reminds us how vital, how important it is to keep our MDF sharp. Right off the bat, as I said before, I can't think of one musician in the game who would not want to amass the level of success that a Sean Combs and others like him who are on the upper echelons of the music business have acquired. No doubt. Obviously, think about it. This man has talent. This man had to have a lot of intelligence. He had to have a plan together and a strategy, which made him one of the biggest stars of our generation. But underneath the surface, something was awry. I mean, just think about it. The first time that he walked into a recording studio, or maybe when he was a little kid and he was dreaming about being this big, huge star. You know, even with the contacts that he amassed along the way and the relationships that he built, he still had to work hard. You know, I mean, it wasn't all handed to him. He placed himself in positions where he had to grow and to be stretched and to become a leader, right? But check this out. There's a quote which says, "Don't let your talent take you where your character can't keep you," right? And there's a Bible verse in Mark, the Gospel of Mark, chapter 8, verses 38 and 37, where Jesus Christ himself asks this question. He says, "For what shall it profit a man if he should gain the world and lose his own soul?" And then he twists the question a little bit to present it this way. "Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? What shall a woman give in exchange for her soul?" This is a mindset question, right? Because there are two sides to this story. Well, actually, there's three sides, because there are obvious victims, true victims, right? And there was a lawsuit and a court settlement which began the unraveling of this process, which led to these indictments. But for the most part, there is the perpetrator and there is the participant in these parties, or as they call them, these freak-offs, right? Now, as we survey this, we should be asking these questions, especially in light of the scripture I gave. How is it that this brother, Sean Combs, if these allegations are indeed true, how much money, how much wealth do you truly need to find happiness? That's a good question. Or perhaps a better question is, when you can afford everything that money can buy, when your success plan has brought you into the ultra heights of accomplishment, what type of mindset leads you down the road to destruction? Think about it. This man is facing 15 years to life in prison after being on the very top of the world. And then on the other side of the coin, for the participant, perhaps, and I certainly don't know this for sure, but I can imagine that at least a few of these participants wanted to be, in the clique. They wanted their music business so bad and the opportunity to see their names in lights so very bad that they decided that their very soul wasn't valuable enough to protect and to cherish. Like the man Esau in the Old Testament, they sold their birthright. They sold their God-given talent for a bowl of soup, for whatever. They gave their bodies away to perversion just so that they can say that they were there. They were in the room, And now they're facing the biggest regrets of their lives. This, my friend, is a mindset issue. See, a sharp mindset teaches you certain things. A mindset that is sharp teaches you that you have to make the decision before the choice even arrives. Can you dig it? You have to already decide. Already. Like now, you have to decide what songs you will not sing, what clothes you will never wear, what movies or plays or videos that you won't act in or be a part of, no matter how much money they offer to pay you. A sharp mindset is deciding ahead of time who you are and who you will remain, so that when the proverbial excrement hits the fan, you keep your dignity. You maintain your integrity. You do not compromise. You uphold your respect, and you get to keep your name. Can you dig that? You sleep well at night because you were not there at the party. In fact, you didn't even accept the invitation. Mindset makes you decide now, so you won't have to choose later. There is no such thing as peer pressure when you've decided long before the pressure popped up. 1 Corinthians 10:13, it says, "No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind." Now, what this means is that every one of us has an Achilles heel. We're not robots, right? We're not machines. Every one of us can be tripped up over something if we are not careful. But the scripture goes on to say that God is indeed faithful. He will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able to bear. But when the temptation comes, when it tries to creep up, God will also provide a way out or a means of escape. I'm King James Version, a means of escape, right? So that you can endure it. That's mindset. Okay? That's a sharp mindset. See, I will not, never cheat on my wife. We're almost 30 years into this strong. And if a temptation should happen to come up, or if there's a particular issue that you know might be a trigger point for you, if you know that there's this thing, you always look for the escape route. You look for the exit sign. It's there because God puts it there. And if you find yourself in a position, you know how to leave immediately. That's what I'm talking about. Someone once said, God will keep you if you stay kept. I like that. God will keep you, but you got to stay kept. And I say the power of staying kept, along with prayer, is a sharp mindset. So, my friends, as we watch this situation continue to spiral downward, and as more names and reputations are damaged and lives are ruined and careers undoubtedly destroyed, pray, absolutely. Pray for all involved. I mean that wholeheartedly. Don't laugh and snicker. This is awful. This is terrible. This is terrible. But as you pray, by all means, learn from this. There's something that we all can learn. Now, I hope that you take this situation with the weight of responsibility that an EntreMusician takes it, because it's very, very serious. And that's why we decided to cover it today. My name is Jerry B. I am the EntreMusician. But you know what? So are you. Let's act like it. Let's maintain it. Let's keep it up. I'll see you next time. Many blessings to you.